Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Locked On Lads TV for the ANZCAR Thunder for round 4 here at Phoenix, Arizona. I am Carl Wilkinson Willie, and joined tonight, as ever, by Mr. Peter Wilco Wilkinson. How you going, Wilco?
I am absolutely amazing, mate. Like I've just heard you are going amazing as well. We are here tonight to watch some ANZCAR Thunder, which I always like to watch cars going around, turning left. It is really good fun, and not being out there is killing me right now because I didn't get to race in the Cup Series last week, but we'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some stage. But we're here at Phoenix. Let's go. No cowboy hats tonight. I've got my best option is a trucker's hat, and we're good to go. Tell us what we're watching tonight, Carl.
Well, we are watching a very tricky little track. Phoenix is one of those tracks that's very easy to get caught out on. It's a technical track. It's changed a little bit as well from sort of early last season. Of course, they did update the track. The start-finish line is a little bit further along on the track now. So instead of being sort of on the start-finish straight next to the pit lane, it's actually just a little bit further around, just on what we call the dog leg. So there's a little kink here at Phoenix. And that means with the restarts, they actually have to start a little bit beforehand as well. It throws people out. Obviously, it's quite a rough track on tyres, so tyre wear is going to be a key focus tonight. Just watching out for those tyres, not to scrub them out too much, to overheat them, and keep them in a good quality condition. So it should be interesting to see how the drivers cope with that one tonight. Of course, 4 sets of tyres for the limit, so you have a set limit tonight, so you can't go over that. So you start with 1 and then get 3 sets of tyres through the race. So should be enough for everybody, unless we get quite a few cautions.
Yes, look, I can't wait. I've driven Phoenix a couple of times. That dog leg is going to catch some people out at some stage, I can guarantee you. We are just about to go into qualifying, waiting for some people to go out on track, I believe. And yeah, what's your pick tonight? Are we looking for? Let's have a look at how many cautions you believe that Phoenix will bring out. And I love that cactus, just the start-finish line. It's a great touch.
Well, the cactus is the most important part, of course. Honestly, I think we might see probably about 4 to 5 cautions tonight. It might be a little bit tricky, just because Phoenix does tend to bring them out a little bit. Lachlan, Ercrio getting a good start to the evening with this first lap in the 27.5s there, getting up into first place at the moment. But yeah, it is a track that really catches people out. The dogleg is closed tonight for this race, and what that means is you can't go beneath the line. So sometimes you'll see here at Phoenix they can dash underneath the line and sort of cut track in half almost. But tonight it is a closed dogleg, so that means you have to go around the proper way. So it makes things a little bit trickier. But Hamish Gallagher, the reigning champion, of course, jumps up to first place now with a 27.522. Very good lap from him. Person I'm interested in seeing is, of course, last week's winner, Mr. Jaden Russell, the winner of the Witcher Electronics Vegas 150 last time out. How will he go tonight? He's been on a bit of a hot streak.
Yeah, look, and there's a few people that are very interested. I want to see how Hayden Schultz goes as well. From snuck into a top 5 last week. We didn't even really pay much attention to that because of all that was going on around him, but he's one that I want to watch as well. There's obviously a few of the Cup Series guys getting out there for a bit of practice tonight as well, because we've got big night tomorrow night, which I have not practiced for one little bit, as I haven't practiced for the broadcasting tonight either, as you can probably tell. What's the key? Are we fast in of the dog leg? Are we pushing the high line? What's the key here on Phoenix?
Well, I think one of the key things is going to be gear changing. Do you change gear or not change gear? Stay in third or flick it up to fourth? When you're going through the dog leg and getting onto that sort of back stretch there, you got a nice bit of road there that you can actually flick it up into fourth gear. You might get a couple of extra kilometers per hour out of it, but sometimes it's better to keep that rev range up just keeping the car sort of in that nice rev range. So that's going to be a key feature, especially for qualifying, is who changes and who doesn't, because that can lose you a couple of tenths of a second. Just that change of gear, of course, because you have to go up, and that loses you a tiny bit of speed. So some people will have probably stayed in third gear all the way around. Others will be changing gears a little bit. Dogleg, of course, you have to be careful not to get caught out. The main problem is probably going to be turns 3 and 4, the sort of final corners before you get to the start finish line. So that can be a really tricky one, just getting the speed right there. Obviously going in sort of getting a nice settled car in the start of the corner is very important, and the exit speed is vital.
Yeah, definitely. Those restarts you were talking about before, um, where do you think people are going to go? Are people going to get slightly confused, or obviously these guys have practiced it a lot? If we get someone fresh at the start, is there going to be some issues there, or just the back markers are going to get caught out? What's the biggest concern with those restarts?
Well, one thing to look out for is actually you'll see there's a little branded Geico section there, the Geico restart section. And that's where that's effectively where the restart happens. So just off the sort of off that final sort of turn 4, I think it is. I'm trying to do numbers in my head now, but sort of off that section now, that's where the restarts sort of happen, and that will catch a few people out if they've not read the rules or just kept an eye on things. So that can be a big issue. Of course, the reason it's set there is because it's just before that dogleg section. Just quickly as well, before we go on, just going to quickly run through the championship standings as of 3 races, of course. So Hamish Gallagher's in the lead, 19 points ahead of Michael Skurlock. Reuben Phelps in third, 25 points off the lead. 33 points down is Jaden Russell in fourth. Fifth is Josh Mickelmore, 38 off the lead. 39 off the lead is Norman Clark in sixth. Dave Douglas is seventh, 49 off the lead. 50 down is Maddie Raymond in eighth, with Greg Spencer next to him. And joint 10th place is Raymond Yeager, Maxi Marshall, Nigel Patton, Luke Traher, Lachlan Ercrio, all 54 points off the lead.
That is really good, and we are starting to get them lined up. And I must admit, look, it's new patch day in iRacing, so for all those people out there who have been eagerly awaiting the patch, when it drops the day of a broadcast, it really does make an issue with things. So if you are watching the broadcast, you might see the track looks a bit washed out, I think. So apologies for that. We just haven't had a chance to set up with what iRacing has thrown at us. But look, we'll get there. Thank you, iRacing. Had to completely change. If you haven't done the thing,
yeah,
completely changed everything on launch. So yep.
Luckily, I did it all this morning myself. I managed to get away with that one. A big shout out tonight to Dave Douglas, the number 10 car. It is his 200th race tonight, so we'll point that one out for him so he gets some bad luck there. Sorry about that one, Dave. Giving the curse to the commentators early there for Double D and his casting couch. But 200th race in ANZCAR, a massive achievement there. Welcome to the 200 club, Dave Douglas.
Do you want to be the person? Actually, I'll start. Let's go for it. I haven't done this yet. Let's look at the grid right now. I'll take the first few. Hamish Gallagher alongside Lachlan Ercrio. Dave Douglas, the 200 man, next to Josh Mickelmore. We've got then on the row 3, Michael Skurlock and Danny G. Row 4, Ryan Jones and Stevie Dub. Row 5, Reuben Phelps and Cade Donnelly as they start rolling out of the pits. Luke Jorgensen and Jaden Russell share row 6. Nigel Patton and Raymond Yeager take 7. Aiden Schultz, who I mentioned before, and Adam Malone sitting off the 8th row of the grid. Connor Nixon and Mirko Dortnak. I keep on getting that wrong. I just Mirko. Row 9. Row 10 is Troy Davidson and Tristan Koch. Do you want to go from there?
Yes. So then it's Christopher Finley and Schroeder. Then we have Matty Hunter, Norman Clark, Kobe Jordan and Darren Loeb, Spencer Glassball, Fenley, Dylan, Dyson down in 31st, JCW in 32nd, quite far down the grid there. So that's my timer screen's gone a little bit funny there. Then it's Nankervis, Raymond, Wellman, Tompkins, Traher, Turner and Brett Campbell finishes us up out of the final few. But we are getting ready for the race. The pace car's gone in. The cars come round. Turn 1 for the first time tonight. Turn 4, they get ready to go, and we are green here at Phoenix. Let's listen to these fantastic cars roar away.
Yes, nice clean start up the front. They're going 3 to 4 wide down the back there. I can see that as Connor Nixon and Adam Malone dropped a few spots back further down the field. Lots of movement actually back down the back there, but nice start from Hamish Gallagher, getting away extremely well, taking full advantage of that front row of the grid as we see Lachlan go high there. Bit of an interesting choice. Might be just getting in there, letting Dave Douglas go by, sitting in behind and following the rhythm that he will set.
He's just locked the front up, had a little bit of a slide there, and that front end has just dug in, so that's cost Lockie a little bit of pace there. Hamish Gallagher, like a scalded cat, getting away so quickly there at the start, getting a fantastic jump there, leading the race away just ahead of Dave Douglas at the moment. As we say, Mr. 200 tonight, Dave Douglas. Very good start, clean start as well. That's what we like to see. I did see a couple of people just dropping off a little bit. I don't think we've actually had everybody make the grid, so Kai Turner, Brett Campbell and Luke Trahair not making the grid tonight. So that's going to leave Noddy Tompkin back at the moment. He's sitting back there with his teammate Maddie Ray at the moment. The SRM boys sitting a little bit further down the grid as it stands.
Yeah, so just focusing back here in this middle pack, we've got Troy Davidson here and Aidan Schultz, Adam Malone and Christopher Finlay floating around back there. Going too wide, these two. Troy is happy to just hold that inside line and just push the number 52 of Aidan up a little bit higher. Aidan slots in and there we go. Nice, good single file in the middle of the pack as we go right to the back there with Andrew Dyson and Aaron Dillian. Norman Clark as well floating around on the inside there. So lots of stuff happening. It's definitely a little bit going on there. Nobby Tompkins at the back there just starting to move up a little bit. And that pretty pink car, who is that? Just go back there a little bit. That one there. Is that James Glasspool? No, not quite. Be back. Oh,
Aaron Dillon, big contact into the wall there. Dillon in the Sim Boys entry, a huge hit to the wall there. That's a lot of damage to the right front. That is going to hurt his night. I was just looking a little bit further up the field. JCW is on an absolute charge at the moment. Started in 32nd place already, up to 23rd. 9 places gained so far. Jaden Russell as well, 4 places gained early in this race.
Now, does that count as commentator's curse as I was talking the pink car and picked him out of the field as he hit the wall? I think that counts, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? I'm there.
100%, yes.
I've made it.
You're doing it. You're doing well. Your commentating has come on leaps and bounds, and you can now curse people.
That's it. I'm getting there, people. Look out. Who can I pick on next? Hamish is just pulling away here at the front. Not pulling away. He's sitting there, almost a second out. But at the moment, they're actually the top three or top four are running about the same pace, I must say. But it's a full second almost lead at the front. So Hamish doing what he wants to do to take a strong line into the first part of this championship as we are in round 4 already, which is phenomenal. This is our 4th broadcast, Carl.
Yeah,
Who would have thought we would have got there?
It's crazy, isn't it? Who would have thought we would have made it this far without everything exploding in a mass of fire? Yeah, it is the Affinity Construction 115 here tonight at Phoenix, of course, and the 4th round of the Thunder Series. And it has been fantastic action all through the year, and a fantastic start as well. Green so far, lap 9. Hamish Gallagher running away at the moment. Got to be careful not to damage his tyres too much. You can push a little bit too hard too early sometimes, and that can absolutely start to just hurt the tyres a little bit here. Track temperature is 37 degrees Celsius as well, so it is a very warm track tonight, and that is going to hurt tyre wear a little bit.
Yes, definitely will, as I start to learn what camera packs I've got for tonight. So we're looking from the drone sitting in the midfield here, watching Hamish just go around nicely. Doesn't look like he's going very fast from the drone. Let's move away from the drone. Let's go back to the chopper. But Hamish is really, he's actually just falling off here. So 0.2 of a second, Dave Douglas has actually pulled back on him now. You can see physically that gap has shrunk by probably a car length or so. As these guys now drift into the 28-second lap mark. So they're definitely already seeing a drop off Let's go back into the field here where we see Matty Hunter, the man, the myth, the legend, and Christopher Finlay and Joshua Carroll-Walden there going too wide around the corner with number 62 Mirko's just sitting back watching all the chaos happen. But this is...
He's just holding back at the moment, just keeping an eye on this pack. I will just ask quickly if I could get eyes on the broadcast booth, please, Mr. Wilco. I can see your beautiful face, but not the action on track at the moment.
Yes, my apologies.
Okey-dokey. So that makes things a little bit easier.
All the behind-the-scenes stuff aren't going well tonight, but that's okay. It's all good as we're on board with Mirko as we watch this battle happening right now. Joshua Carroll-Walden, as you said, is on a flyer at the moment going up through the field, but he's just parked here behind Matty Hunter as those, like I said, those times are now pushing out to almost the 29-second lap mark. You see, that's almost like a second and a half from the start from their best laps, or a full second out from their best laps already. This tyre drop-off.
Tyres will drop off quickly here, and it is one of the things that you will see if we get a caution. People will very much consider coming in for a fresh set of boots.
Now, how many tyres do they have?
So they've got 3 sets remaining now. 4 sets for the night. So you have 4 sets in the Thunder Series and the Cup Series. So you only get the 4 sets of tyres. So you've got to be careful not to go through them too quickly, of course. So if we see a caution now, you might see a few people pop in for a little top up of fuel. Probably not worry about tyres this early on in the race, in all honesty, because you're going to go through them quite quickly if you come in now for tyres. But it'll be interesting to see how they go. Fuel-wise, not really an issue here. They can get around about 75, 80 laps on a full tank. From my practice earlier on tonight, that's what I was about getting. So I imagine that these boys can do a lot better than that. But it's more of a tyre wearer than a fuel consumption race tonight. Jaden Russell making a nice move at the moment on Reuben Phelps for P7, getting down underneath there through the Geico restart zone of turn 4. Across the start-finish line they go. You see the beautiful big spiky cactus on the outside waving away as Jaden Russell slides down the inside of the 06 of Reuben Phelps and gets through. Reuben Phelps trying his best to get back on Russell, but Russell again showing some good pace.
I think Scurley there up front got a little bit whirly up the front of him coming out of that corner there, but he's held up pretty well, not lost any time out of that. He
had a big save there. He just caught the packet of air on the outside of the wall. The rear end of the car just got buffeted a little bit and pushed it out onto the track itself. So he was running very close to the wall there, and it just gave it a little bit of a shove. One thing you have to watch out for as well here at Phoenix is the outside barriers. They are not sort of in a line. They do come into the actual track a little bit, and you will notice that. You can see it on the stream, you can see it on the broadcast, but they do jut in a little bit, and that catches a lot of drivers out because they, on the exit of the corners, the barriers come in a little bit here. It is very easy to wreck a car quite quickly.
I'm just trying to find a good angle of it, but yeah, definitely they go in and out, and they definitely catch some people out. I love that I've got Cactus Scam though. Let's go look at that. Hamish Gallagher coming around underneath the cactus to start lap 18. Oh, that's really good. I love it.
Cactus Scam is going to be the favourite of the night, of course. Great little battle as well, just a little bit further back. Matt Hunter, Joshua Carroll-Walden, and Marco Dornack, they were running side by side. They are once again side by side. The 35 on the 48. 35 gets down on the inside, makes a nice move, pushing Matty Hunter out in the Vision Motorsports entry. Just gets out wide, and that's going to hurt the tyres a little bit, add a little bit more heat into them, and just cause the car to run a little bit wide for a couple of laps. So he's managed to slide back in there, but you can see Dornack is closing in on this battle quite quickly, and that's kind of what happens when you get pushed out to that high line, is it really affects you for a good couple of laps there. Everybody at the front is kind of sitting single file at the moment. Josh Mickelmore having a good run up into P3 at the moment, and he is moving his way up the field nicely. Lachlan Ercrio dropping back a little bit from 2nd to 5th as it stands, but we saw that little mistake cost him a little bit, but he can always work his way back up through the field. There is a long way to go here tonight, as we are on lap 21 of 115, so 94 laps still to go here at Phoenix, Arizona.
I'm fascinated by this gap up front between Hamish Gallagher and Dave Douglas. That it is basically down to the hundredth of a second. These guys are lapping at the same pace right now. Dave Douglas going slightly slower, but it's sitting at point 0.8, point 0.7 a second mark the whole way through. The difference is, though, if you go back to Josh Mickelmore here, and we go on board with him and look down the track, you can see that that gap's almost over a second now. So between him and Dave Douglas, and definitely between him and Ryan Jones, these guys are dropping just ever so slightly off this front pack, which means nothing right now, does it, Carl? Because we do expect a caution. So what do you think the strategy is here? Micklemore's just sitting back and waiting and using those tyres for later on, or that's the pace they've got tonight?
Well, in this situation, I would just be holding position a little bit, just waiting, biding my time, just in case the caution flag doesn't fly. If you're sitting in a position like Josh Mickelmore at the moment in third, you've got a little bit of a gap behind you, so not too much to worry about there at the moment. That's a pretty steady little gap. So nobody's really pushing on you, nobody's really advancing. So if you can keep those tyres semi-alive at this stage, you're looking good later on in the race if there is no caution. Of course, you can just go hell for leather and hope there is a caution, but doing that is guaranteed to make it so nobody will make a mistake. Just looking through the field, there's some great battling going on all throughout the pack at the moment. We've got some good runs going on out there at the moment. Matty Ray working his way up the field. Mr. Sheen is trying to keep it as clean as possible. He's worked his way up a few positions now. Expect to see him going up later in the race. Joshua Carroll-Walden up 13 spots now on a track that is not easy to pass on. JCW is going hell for leather at the moment in this Xfinity car, in that Atari entry, trying his best to catch up. He is battling it out with Troy Davison and Adam Malone at the moment, and they are side by side as they come out of turns turn 3. Where am I? I'm having to do my maths again. Turn 2, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, turn 2, yes. Dogleg doesn't count, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because it's only a bend, it's not really a turn.
That's not a corner, it's a dogleg. That's exactly what it is. Troy Davidson and Raymond Yeager as well, side by side at the moment. We have got the Sim Boys versus the Pinnacle Esports entry, and that fight is going on very well. But up front, it is still Hamish Gallagher that leads.
I was trying to watch before. Nobby Tompkins is now slipping through the field, going a lap down. So luckily, Hamish and Dave Douglas have got past, but we're now watching Ryan Jones, who's moved up into fourth. He's still in fourth, sorry, hasn't moved up at all. Sitting there in third, fourth, Josh Mickelmore and him have also got to try and get past Nobby Tompkins without an issue. So potentially, if we get a yellow, it's going to be sometime soon.
Yeah, when you get traffic, when you get lapped cars in the mix, it can play things around a little bit. Nobby got quite a bit of experience and just knows to lift and just get in the right spot at the right time. And that's all part of the driving on ovals as well. It's part of the skill. I mean, when you're actually, Nobby's not that far off pace wise. He's still going a heck of a speed, just about 8/10 off the pace at the moment. Ooh. But on a short track like this, it makes a big difference, and just keep the car in the right place at the right time is very important.
So Lockie's pulled past Ryan Jones. I might need you to go back and just find out what's happened there, because Ryan's dropped probably about a second and a half there. I'm not sure what's happened. Might have just, I don't know. I won't even guess at the moment. But yeah, he just seemed to have popped out of that 3-car battling pack for the final spot on the podium.
A very, very cheeky little bump and run from Lachlan Ercrio. So lap 29. Very, very cheeky. Lap 28, just on the end of lap 28 there. Just a very cheeky little bump and run. Lachlan Ercrio just catching Ryan Jones, just giving him a nice little kiss on the rear, unsettles the car. Jones catches that slide perfectly, keeps it going in the right direction, but drops back a little bit. So Lockie's going to have to watch out later in the race for that one.
Yes, definitely. There will be payback.
Exactly. That's it. Motorsport is not full contact, but NASCAR, it's expected to have a little bit of rubbing here and there. We've got still the battle going on between Yeager and Davidson. These two have been battling lap after lap, and it's given Carroll-Walden and Dortmund the chance to catch up, as well as Matty Hunter. So with these two battling out, it's made a bit of a gap between them and Aiden Schultz. And these two are fighting it out. As Jaeger gets very close to the wall there. I think maybe makes contact with it. Has a little bit of a wrinkle on the front of that car now. Davidson finally gets through and is no longer side by side. Jaeger is struggling a little bit, possibly overheated those tyres a little bit now. So he's going to be struggling for grip now as those things turn into almost like overly chewed bubble gum. It's a horrible feeling when those tyres drop off.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a nice little scratch as well, as we do watch Raymond get way out of shape and go down the bottom there after we went. Oh no, it wasn't Raymond. It was behind him. It was Mirko, actually, was it? Sorry, it was Mirko. Yeah, it's just got a bit loose up on the high, and then caught it before he went down and hit the inside wall. Yeah, he's just tapped the wall again, I think, as well. But yeah, this middle pack is fascinating. You've got Connor Nixon right down through to James Glaswell are all, battling. Anything can happen in this pack. Mirko had done really well. Like, I watched him before he got past Matty Hunter, but obviously now he's lost that position again. As James makes his way up through this little pack as well. All the action is happening here, as it's a second difference now between Hamish and Dave Douglas up front, and then another second back to Josh Mickelmore. But this is where the action is. You got Aiden Schultz just wanting to get to the front of this pack so he doesn't get caught up in any of the mess. Connor Nixon happy to lead it, or be out there currently as well. And Luke Jorgensen just staying out of trouble, which is the best place to be right here. The sneaky one, Troy Davison's going to try and push down inside here too, I think, and help Aiden go past at some stage.
Nigel Patton getting a nice lead out of this from this pack as well. He's got a couple of seconds ahead as Georgeson just gets a little bit loose on entry, runs up very high through turns 1 and 2, loses a little bit of pace, and that costs Aiden Schultz behind him as well. A lot of new names in this field as well, which is what we love to see. We love seeing a bit of fresh talent in the field, but it is veterans up the front. It is it is champion Gallagher in the lead.
Front. Well, I need to go back here. We've got lap to cars has really pulled them up. That second lead has vanished. We now have the three of the cars within a second of each other, 0.7 of a second actually, to be frank. It's between, really brought Hamish back into it. So we're 37 laps in. When do you look at a green run stop? Or do you just push these tyres as long as you can, Carl?
Push as long as you can. You might see a couple of people deciding to try a undercut, try a two-stopper. I think, in all honesty, they're going to try for a single stop. Usually you can drive around the tyres a little bit, and the longer the stint goes, the more chance there is of a caution coming out, as some less experienced drivers start to struggle a little bit on those tyres. That's what they're going to be looking for. And you can see this battle pack as well from 14th down. It is just absolutely side-by-side action, and it is fully on at the moment. Andrew Dyson now catching up to this pack as well. Strange, it's been a while since we've seen Dyson struggling down the pack a little bit. He is side by side with Christopher Finley at the moment. Very close racing here though, and this is the kind of thing that could easily bring a caution out. It just takes one tiny mistake here.
See there, like, as I said, Aiden did get past, and now he's putting a gap on. It's almost out to half a second here. Luke Jorgensen must be really struggling on those tyres. He's going in particular to turn 1, I think it is, and his car is stepping out at the back just ever so slightly, and it's just slowing him down, which is then catching everyone up to him. But you can see that gap now is almost out to a second between Aiden and Luke, and he only just got past him a few laps ago as Luke hits the wall.
Yeah, we get a few people just having a bit of a moment behind Andrew Dyson as well, having a big tank slapper there as well. The trouble is as the tyres drop off, you start to plough up the racetrack as well, so the front's going to drop off a lot, and that's going to cause the car to go absolutely wide. It's going to give you a lot of understeer, and then of course you tend to light up the rears a little bit, and then that will kick the back out and give you that little bit of snap oversteer in the mid corner sometimes. And especially on exit, that's where you've got to be careful. You've got to really gently nurse that throttle on the exit of the corner, because otherwise that back end will step out. But you have to be absolutely precise on the brakes in the entry of the corner to get it turned in. So it is a really hard skill to master, and especially in this stage of the race, this is where the cars get very, very tired. They start to struggle a little bit. As you say, the tyres are dropping off. You've been fighting lap after lap after lap, especially in this pack.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
there it is.
We get contact. Georgeson has got contact. Dyson in there as well. They managed to stay green just about for the moment. Georgeson actually quite fortunate not to have more damage. He gets a huge snap off the corner. He basically just gets up towards the wall coming off of turn number 2 and hits that pocket of air and then fishtails it all the way down that back straight, goes into the side of Dyson. You'll see it here. Dyson just gets caught. Dyson very lucky not to get completely taken out of that one. Quite a bit of damage to that DPR entry, but it is still going.
He's done an amazing job to not cause a caution there. Oh, 41. 41 was the innocent bystander in that, Andrew Dyson, as you said. So, yeah, that's unlucky for Andrew, and it's Luke was doing such a good job as well, staying up with the field there. It's a shame to see him out that way, but
well, he's not completely out. There's a fair bit of damage there, but that is he's going to be able to come in, slap some new tyres on there. He might be able to get out with some repairs done and possibly make something of this race. Connor Nixon was a really unfortunate one as well. He actually, so it was sort of, as he was fishtailing, Nixon went really hard into the back of Georgeson, and then Joshua Carroll Walden went into the back of him. There was a big check up there between those cars. So a lot of damage to the front end, and that's something you've got to be a bit cautious of as well. Air temperature here is not too bad, only 23 degrees Celsius, but you can get the cars overheating a little bit, especially if you get damage to that radiator.
Yeah, you can see that damage we had on the front of his car as he goes past the camera just there. These guys are screaming for, it's not quite half distance, but they are definitely screaming for a yellow right now. I can see some of those cars are definitely losing that back end just that little bit. But this is fascinating to see how well this race is going. Driving etiquette style, I guess, or driving standard style. The driving is immense out of this Thunder Series, which is really good to see. It's a shame that middle pack has been broken up a fair bit, but Matty Hunter is definitely having some fun in there.
That middle pack may be broken up, but we've got a battle up for P5 at the moment. Jones against Russell at the moment is a pretty big fight. That one's going on pretty big, so keep an eye out for that one. We've got Connor Nixon coming into pit lane, so I think he's the first to stop. And I was about to say, this is about the time where you might want to look at stopping a little bit early, just in case we get a nice long green stint again, because you could gain up a few positions here. If you come in now, slap a set of new tyres on there, you're going to get a good road pace. Meanwhile, we've got the battle between Dave Douglas, Josh Mickelmore, and Lachlan Ercrio for P2. Josh Mickelmore's getting
come back out of nowhere from there.
Yeah, he's just been sitting back in that 42, and it's really run up nicely. Look at the run he's got on Mickelmore. Mickelmore just struggling a little bit, had a little bit of a wobble on the exit of the corner in that Affinity-sponsored Mitch Motorsport entry. Of course, Affinity, the sponsor for tonight's race, we thank them very much for that. But it is just holding on there. Dave Douglas into the wall. Big impact for Double D. Not what you want on your 200. That is what 200 races of experience does. It manages to make it so you don't absolutely wreck the car when you tag the wall like that, but that's going to hurt.
Yes, definitely will. He did. Lockie's counting his lucky stars right now. He could have easily just tapped the back of him and spun him quite easily there, but that is a great save from Mr. 200 himself, Dave Douglas. But not what he wanted. 50 laps in after the start, he had to be sitting back and forth watching the back of Lockie's car with a bit of damage down the side of his car. Danny G and Cade Donnelly here are having a bit of fun as Danny G starts to bring himself up through the field as well.
Stevie'd up there as well, the green car in the back of that one. He's just sitting there at the moment watching this battle go on, just rubbing his hands with glee, seeing what happens. Of course, Danny G getting his first win of the season in the Cup race last time out, so he is coming off a bit of a high, Danny G, at the moment, and hoping he can continue that streak of good fortune. So he'll see how that one goes. So Connor Nixon, Kobe Jordan have both come into pit lane. So they will have dropped a lap or two from that one. Of course, it is quite a long stay in pit lane here, so you do drop a good amount of time. As we get a caution,
Yellow. Who is it?
as that is disastrous. Somebody's had a big off there. A lot of smoke. I can see in the background somebody having to actually flick it around. Who was that?
Kobe Jordan.
It was Kobe Jordan.
Yep. So
Cold tyres catching Kobe out. So that is just coming out of pit lane. Cold tyres and getting around there. Gets into turn, just off of turn 2, into turn 3, and just doesn't get it turned in. So just misjudges the entry a little bit on turn 2. Back end's going to step out on him as he gets by the Geico restart section, and that car goes around on the start-finish line. So cold tyres there catching Kobe out.
Sorry, I went back a little bit too far there, everyone. We're going to catch it. As you see right there, Carl called it to perfection. Just enough of a spin to get him around. No damage really done there. So, nice little flick kick, and back to racing as we go to... sorry, that went a bit wrong. We went to...
Lachlan Ercrio just absolutely messing up his pit stop. He has made a dog's dinner of that in the dog's box entry. So not what you want to have happen. Almost possibly a good exit out of pit lane for him, but it's very much sideways. You can see that car sitting in the wrong spot.
He had to make a movement.
Yeah, he's braked a little bit too late there, locked up a little bit, and then spun it out. Just a slight little mistake, and that's going to cost him dearly.
Has he got a penalty for speeding in pits? Because I've got him still sitting in pit lane.
Possibly.
Because he definitely hasn't moved on my page. He's definitely dropped way down the pack. I would say he's come in hot.
So yeah, it looks like he is.
Oh, while we've got this
penalty there,
we will just quickly shout out to those people watching at home. Trevor Mickelmore, thank you for joining us for yet another week. Brett Campbell, letting us know about the graphical problems he's having as well. Callum Heinrich, one of Locked On Races, telling us how bright Phoenix looks. And Riley Curtis giving us all the feedback as far as we need for the tyre wear in YouTube. So thank you everyone for dropping by.
Yeah, Riley, an absolute legend and a useful source of information, and fantastic graphics designer as well of cars. Always nice to have you, and good evening to Trev as well. Always nice to have him along. Josh Mickelmore working his way up to P2, so Trev's going to be pretty happy about that one. Obviously, the big loser out of those pit stops was Lachlan Ercrio. He has dropped pretty much to the back of the line. That's going to be an absolutely painful mistake for him to cop.
Upside is he is only sitting in 25th of this massive field. He has got a clean car. He has got some pace. It'll be interesting to see how he fights his way back up to the field with 60 laps to go. It's almost come at the perfect time. Like, these guys will be able to push 60 laps with these tyres. That's not a problem at all. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race from here on out. Who do we want to commentate this curse? Like, Hamish looks great. He's doing everything he should be. Dave's obviously had one incident, and that's it. And Josh Mickelmore's come up to the field. But Jaden Russell slowly, without even really looking much at him at all, he's up in the 5th. And Danny G sitting there as well. Reuben Phelps doing a great job as well. So where is it sitting at the moment for you, Carl?
Well, you've got to say Hamish Gallagher's looking good as we get ready for the restart. They're coming around here, so this is what we mean by the restart. They come down this section here. This used to be the start-finish straight back in the day, but it is now on the dog leg, so they're going to come around the corner here. On the inside, you're going to see the Geico section there on the inside, and that is where the leader can drop it. So just about here, and this is the restart zone, so it's on Hamish Gallagher's prerogative, and away he goes. Good restart from Gallagher. Very nice launch there. Easy does it. Straight through there. Nice one from Josh Mickelmore. Dave Douglas trying to get up there quickly as well. Jaden Russell gets a blinder of restart as well, but goes out a bit wide. That's going to give Ryan Jones the opportunity to get underneath him at the moment. Watch out for Reuben Phelps as well. As Reuben Phelps goes sideways, catches the car. How do you like that? Reuben Phelps, absolutely fantastic save there from him.
We have got a
that
caution,
could have been
though.
a disaster as we got a caution.
Trying to find who's dropping back through the field.
I'm trying to figure out that caution, actually. It's
Is it a phantom one?
something's ordered out for sure, but
Nothing's come up on my timing. I can't see anyone dropping back through the field. Well,
I'll
Gary's...
endeavour to have a bit of a look through that one. See if I can figure out what caused that one to happen. Oh, there we go. It is. Unfortunately, Connor Nixon and Kobe Jordan have got into each other. So just out of turn 2. So bit of a check up behind Noddy Tompkins, and up into Kobe goes Nixon, and around he goes, and then who was that behind him? Darren Lobb, the unfortunate car there, the red and blue Camaro there, just has nowhere to go, and that is pretty much going to be that for him now. Unfortunate indeed for him.
Yes, it looks like... Ooh, okay, very interesting. Connor just keeps on going. It's as if he just drives straight through him.
Yeah,
but it definitely feels like Kobe has just drifted down ever so slightly. Might have got the all clear call. Yeah, it goes around the outside and then just comes drifts down on him and cuts his nose off. I've gone too far
Often
back.
the case. Unfortunately, you get that all clear call. Sometimes as well, it might have just been a little bit of loss of grip there. Cold tyres, as we say, restarts. Cautions breeding cautions, the old adage. You see there, he checks that behind Noddy Tompkins, and I think that's what's actually caused it there.
Yep.
So it's just that little tiny checkup that has caused that second incident of the race. Second caution of the night there. A few drivers coming in for pit lane. Just seeing if they... seeing what they're up to, actually. I've got Raymond Yeager coming in right now, possibly just for a couple of quick repairs on the car. I think they're just going to get some damage just patched up.
He has got that rear damage, I can see right there on the camera. And the work down the driver's side door there as well. Look, that's unfortunate. I was going to try and watch some Darren Lobb before, because he was driving really well and he was up fairly high, and just obviously I think he got mixed up in some pit stops and got dropped back down the field and just got caught up in an unlucky position as he goes past the slow moving Connor Nixon, whose front car doesn't look very nice at the moment. But the number 99 there, he's a new person, which it's good to see. As we said, great to see all these new people coming through the series as he goes back in to get some more damage fixed up before we go green.
Yeah, speaking of rookies, James Glaswell having a fantastic run at the moment. 17 positions gained up into P11 in the DPR entry. One of the horde of DPR cars. We jokingly say that, of course, but there's decent turnout for DPR this season as well. They have really stepped it up. A lot of those drivers wanted to come in and race in ANZCAR and on the ovals, and it's been great to see them come over, along with Synergy and a few of the other big teams as well. Always nice having them come in and have a bit of a go, a bit of an effort. Base car lights have gone out though, so we will be going back to green very, very shortly. Gallagher will once again lead away. When will he drop the loud pedal? He's got his teammate on the outside, but that's not always a welcome sight for Mitch Motorsport because they will race each other hard. So those two will absolutely go for it. Don't be afraid of that one. But how will Hamish go? Will we see another victory for the Tay lover, Mr. Hamish Gallagher, tonight? We will find out in 54 laps as we go back to green flag racing here at Phoenix. Another great restart for Hamish Gallagher. Very nicely done. Jaden Russell gets an absolute blinder.
And Josh jumps straight down to make sure he's got that single second position on his own. So Dave Douglas is not going to let Jaden, though, take this freely as they go almost side to side, and Dave Douglas pushes his way back up into third. And he's going to give Josh a bit of a run for his money here to get that second spot back as Hamish...
Skurlock just misses Ryan Jones there, very close. You can hear by the tone of the voice and deep inhalation. very close to making contact there as he just goes a little bit deep, but
We've got
nice
lap
driving.
traffic in Darren Lobb just up ahead here, which is going to make very interesting negotiations here for this bunched field as they come through. Oh,
Oh,
40.
who's that gone around?
Kate
Sherlock, I
Donnelly.
think.
No, Kate Donnelly.
Oh, Kate Donnelly. Big impact, and that's going to bring out the caution again. So,
Was it?
Donnelly, it was. Kate Donnelly having a big moment off the corner. The back end steps out. He has a big snap of oversteer and then can't save it and goes into the wall. And that is going to bring out third caution. Well, we say cautions breeding cautions, and this is the exact thing of it. Obviously, cold tyres not up to temperature or pressure yet. And you can see there, Cade has just had a big snap on the exit, tries to save it, but there's not much you can do there, and then heavy impact
He's
straight
doing the best
into
Lightning
the inside
McQueen
wall.
action impersonation I've ever seen. Those tires really jumped for joy.
Yeah, leaping up in the air. Not leaping for joy though tonight, unfortunately for Cade Donnelly. That is a shame. He's having a good run.
I do love
We
this
see it often.
look at Phoenix from above. The pit lane is very unique, I guess, with the entry around the back there, and the turn in is awfully brings people unstuck quite a lot anyway. That entry, I'm surprised we haven't seen that a bit more tonight. It's a very unique track, isn't it?
It is. It is a very different oval. It's one of the things when we talk about oval racing as well, as people go, well, it's just turning left, isn't it? You know, it's not much you do. You know, it's you're just turning one way and you just go flat out. There are so many different variations, and Phoenix is a great example of a very different layout. It's a track that really can catch you out. It's very difficult to drive as well. Phoenix is one of those tracks that is incredibly difficult to actually get right and master, and it does take a lot of concentration, and people really underestimate it. The first time this season, we're seeing a track that really requires a bit more braking and a bit more throttle management as well. We've had a little bit of a cookie cutter track so far this season as super speedways. So this is a good first night for the more technical ovals.
So it's very unique in the fact that it's main straight. If you take the dogleg as an actual turn, that straight is so narrow, the start finish line. So it makes finishes extremely interesting, and obviously makes starts very, very interesting as well, because you do have to turn pretty much straight after you get past the start finish line, and then that dogleg makes a big difference. As you can see with most of your restarts, the front crew end up going single file almost straight away to try and get into it. As we are getting close to, I know they are single file, we're all good at the moment. Trev Mickelmore has called it early. Hamish, then Josh, and then Jaden Russell and Michael Skurlock will be the top four. So he's trying to get them to wreck as well. So thanks for that, Trev.
He's putting his own curses in there early on tonight. Look, there's so many drivers out there that can absolutely win. I mean, up at the front, we've got multiple winners. The first person to not have won an ANZCAR race is in 8th position, and that's playing James Glaswell. And you know that's 7 drivers up at the front, all ANZCAR winners, Cup winners, multiple winners, champions. You know, lots of different things through there, and it shows the competition, the level of competition, and the it is tricky to win in this series as well, because it's so often the case, so many different victors. But Hamish Gallagher is doing his best to stop that from happening and dominating. He has been absolutely super in the Thunder series and really, really pushing it with those victories. Very, very dominant in this Xfinity car. Will we see it once more?
With Ryan Jones, who is all over the back of Dave Douglas, ready for the start. But let's get back into the action there. I was just watching the M&M's car, literally trying to take a bite out of the back of Dave Douglas's car. Well done, Ryan.
Wanted to show off Dave Douglas's fantastic paint job and sponsorship on the rear of his car. I mean, we all love getting a close-up of Dave's rear. It is one of the fantastic things you get in ANZCAR, of course, as we go back to green flag racing here at Phoenix.
Yes, hopefully a little bit more green flag racing. We were saying how good the driving standards were, and then 3 yellows in a row. Ooh, as Dave gets high up to the wall there on exit. Skurlock taking the lower line, trying to make that work ahead of '06, which is Reuben Phelps, getting the spot on him. So just keeping an eye out. Lachlan Ercrio, we talked about him before after his pit problems, is up to 16th as well back there in the pack. But this front pack, as once again, Hamish jumps out to already half a second lead.
Douglas into the wall again. Douglas just taking a bite out of the barrier. We talked about the Darlington stripe. I think Dave is getting the Phoenix.
Nigel Patton
flashed.
is dropping back through the pack as well.
Yeah, Patton's had a big moment as well on the exit, and that's caused him to have a big lift off. He's locked up going underneath Stevie Dub. Locked the front of that car as he tries to avoid somebody, and then just loses positions, hemorrhages positions. That's how close it is in oval racing. Just takes one little mistake like that and you will plummet from a decent position all the way to the back of the pack. You can lose 10 to 15 spots in a flash. Dave Douglas at the moment is hemorrhaging positions, falling down from that good position down into possibly fourth, but he is fighting back with Ryan Jones and Josh Mickelmore at the moment. Meanwhile, Gallagher is leading with Jaden Russell just behind him. Jaden Russell now on a bit of a charge, trying to catch up. The battle for the moment is with third position. It is Mickelmore currently holding that spot. Ryan Jones just behind with Dave Douglas slotting beside him. Watch out for Skurlock just lurking there. And don't discount Reuben Phelps as well. A canny driver, very, very good towards the end of his stints. He could be one to watch out for later on in this race. Aiden Schultz inside the top 10 as well. And we've seen Aiden have some good charges recently, some very good finishes. Danny G, never discount Danny G. The silent assassin will creep up from nowhere and all of a sudden win a race. A lot of action still to come tonight here at Phoenix for the Affinity Construction at 115 here at Phoenix Motor Speedway. It's all contact between Jones and Douglas.
And the worst for wear out of that is Jones, as now he goes back into Michael Skurlock's clutches and has Phelps and Danny G sitting there behind, and it's allowed Dave Douglas to get away a little bit. Dave's car looks, it's not straight.
No.
Yeah, we've got a yellow. JCW has had a problem, and so has
Troy Davidson. Troy Davidson.
Flick that back and find out what happened.
So
I've just gone back a full lap though. That's probably a little bit too far.
We'll go back into that one. Matt Hunter gets caught in that one as well, but Joshua Carroll-Walden just tagging the rear of the Sim Boys 023 entry. And around he goes, and you see there, Matt Hunter tries to avoid it, but can't. Just gets a little tag. And then the 34 there of Adam Malone, sorry, just gets a tag as well. Just door-on-door contact, nothing major there, sorry. The big news, I think, is probably up the front with Dave Douglas and Brian Jones, because they had a big wallop with each other as well.
I'll see if I can find that in a sec. I'm just watching on board from this is from Troy Davison, just as he came in there and just flipped her in the rear. So let's go to Ryan Jones, sitting back in 19th now.
Yeah, so he's coming to pit lane. A few people have come into pit lane. So Ryan Jones coming to pit lane.
See the front of Ryan's car from his gyro cam. Bit of damage there.
Yeah, so
wow.
Just nowhere for Douglas to go up against the wall there. Ryan Jones on the outside, just a little bit of netcode, I think, involved in that one as well, because they weren't that close. So they sort of were just side by side, unfortunately. Just that little bit of netcode in that one, just nothing in that really. It's just that little bit of contact.
You think you're fine with that, but definitely done some damage to Brian Jones's car.
Yeah. But it's something you have to account for as well when you're racing, of course. You do have to put into your mind that you have to leave an extra couple of mils with these cars just because of things like netcode. Although it's forever improving, you do have to allow for that to come into effect sometimes. So it is one of those things that you sort of have to constantly think about, and it is tricky sometimes because you sort of you think normally in a race, especially if you're used to just racing against single player racing games, for instance, things like that. If you sort of race with them or racing against AI, you don't really get that netcode issue as much. Um, but when you're online, of course, there is that little bit of lag and all this kind of stuff that comes into effect. So you have to leave just that little tiny bit of extra room just to make sure that kind of thing does not happen. But quite a few drivers coming in, as I say, getting a fresh set of boots on their car as well as getting some repairs done. So this is going to change things up a little bit. Danny G is the first car on fresh tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, so he's only got, so the rest of them are sitting on 24 lap tyres, which is going to be fairly interesting, considering the Danny G, Adam Malone, Nigel Patton all sitting there, fresh tyres. Matty Hunter even, obviously, we got caught up in that incident. Depends how much damage he's got. Matty Raymond's an interesting one, sitting there perfectly positioned to fight through, especially if we get another caution and these guys have to juggle positions again. But Lachlan Ercrio sitting in 10th from that little pit lane mishap. So very good fight back from him, but interesting to see if we get another caution or not. We've got two packs here, which is going to unfold different strategies to see what happens as Hamish gets ready to go. And Mickelmore actually sticks with him this time and has a pretty good start with him, and is going to push alongside him. No, not quite, but Jaden Russell on the outside holding his own as well, and actually getting up towards the tail on the high line there with Hamish down by the end of the second corner. So these guys are battling really well. Back through the pack there, Ryan Jones gets another little hip and shoulder in the back there.
This is where we are probably going to see another caution come out as these guys race through on fresh tyres. You can see how much faster Danny G, Ryan Jones, all those guys that took fresh tyres are at the moment. They are absolutely sailing by those cars that did not take tyres. So they've only got one set of tyres left for this race now. The rest of the field have two more choices. So if we get another couple of cautions, it could work out well for them. Honestly, I think taking tyres in that last stop would probably be the best option, but we'll find out soon, I'm sure, as this race unfolds. But you can just see the speed advantage they've got. They're able to take different lines, able just to hang that car out a little bit more, just take a little bit more road and go underneath the cars around them and really push their way through the field. So watch for them to come up to the front. Ryan Jones already working his way up the field with Danny G. Those two battling it out down in 12th and 13th at the moment, but they are moving their way up the field very, very quickly. It won't be long until they are basically up the front, battling it out with the leaders. Hamish Gallagher in the lead of the race still, with Jaden Russell just behind him. Josh Mickelmore in third, fourth for Michael Scarlett, fifth for Phelps, sixth for Douglas, Schultz in seventh, eighth for Glaswell, ninth for Ercrio, and 10th is Christopher Finlay at the very moment, but it's not going to be long until it is Jones.
Yeah, definitely. Jones and Danny G look very solid here. Lachlan, as we said, coming through there. Lachlan on the back of Aiden Schultz, who once again is having a great race, sitting inside the top 10 there, pushing Dave Douglas up against the wall again with this little a bit of dirty air in the rear, I think. But Lockie here, he's back on the back of Dave Douglas, who's slowly falling his way back down the field, unfortunately, with that damage, and he hits the wall again and almost takes Lockie out again.
Douglas is driving a very wounded car right now. He is just hustling that thing along as it stands. Not a huge amount of options for that car. A little bit of contact a little bit further back between Matty Ray and Michael Schroeder. Just a slight little bit of hip and shoulder, nothing major between those two. But it is very much on for the rest of them. Now what's going to happen is those tyres will plateau a little bit. They will start to even out a little bit as they warm up, as they get a little bit warmer. As these guys push through the field, they've got to take different lines, so they're going to wear their tyres a little bit quicker as well. So their advantage will drop off a tiny bit, but they are making it work at the moment. As you can see, Jones getting past Schultz now. Phelps is his next victim. Will he be able to catch up to him? 31 laps remaining. Should be okay for this next few laps, and as I say, those tyres will be relatively good for a while. It's just when he gets up to about Skurlock and Mickelmore. I think that's where those tyres will start to lose their complete advantage, but they have really made it work for themselves, just siving their way through the field.
I'm just looking. I'm glad to see Ryan finally in some clean air, because we can actually see what this lap times are actually doing. He's at a 21.8, and the front runners are on a 21.4 and 21.5. So you can see there, and even the guys in front of him 28.6. There's a full half-second a lap advantage right now with those tyres. So he is only 2.5 seconds off the lead. Within 5 to 6 laps, we could see him up the front there if his tyres hold out with that extra advantage. As Mickelmore and Jaden Russell up front are having a nice little battle for second place, with not many laps to go now. Can you believe we're up that lap 86 already, Carl?
No, it has been a fantastic race. We've seen some great action in a couple of cautions there throughout the race. A few single car spins, a couple of little contacts, but nothing too severe tonight, which is always what we like to see. It's been a relatively clean race, although you wouldn't know that by looking at some of the cars out there, of course. But they have been running very well out there.
No, I thought we had Luke driving a bit slow there, apparently somewhere on the track, but that's fine. He's probably just letting some cars pass.
Just jumping back, sorry, to Stevie Dubb at the moment. Dave Douglas, Stevie Dubb, with Matty Ray and Adam Malone now. These guys are very close to each other at the moment. There is a good little battle going on down towards the back of the pack there. This is a really good fight happening. But then we can't take our eyes too far off the front as well, as Skurlock is right on the back of Mickelmore at the moment. So the battle is on for the lead of the race, and catching up is Ryan Jones and Danny G. Watch out for these two as this race goes on, of course, on the freshest tyres out the lot. Nigel Patton as well, having a really good run up the field. We saw Patton have a big snap earlier on, lose a lot of positions. Now on those fresh tyres is scything his way through the field, getting up into a good finishing position. As long as he can hold it for the next 26 laps, he could have a very strong finish tonight.
And just quickly, I was mentioning before Ryan Jones there, 28.3s at the moment versus the 28.7s up front. Poor Dave Douglas, 29.4s at the moment. His car is really struggling with those few hits that it's taken during this race. He's a full second off the pace at the moment and going backwards now down to 18th position. Lockie sitting perfectly well just ahead of Nigel Patton here in the top 10. Michael Schroeder, someone we haven't really talked about much tonight there, but he's down there getting past a few people, as well as with Dave Douglas going backwards just that ever so little bit. Nice white car for Michael Schroeder as he sits there on the back of Matty Hunter, who was involved in that incident before.
So just looking at the times again quickly. So leaders 28.7, 28.6, Ryan Jones 28.5. So you can see starting to plateau a little bit. So that's where the pace drops off a tiny bit, but still has a bit of advantage here. Keep an eye out for Danny G as well, just lurking in the background as we see with Danny so often. Just keeping an eye on the battle. Good little fight as well between 8th, 9th, 10th. We've got Aiden Schultz, Ercrio and Patton. Patton, of course, on those fresh tyres. Ercrio makes a big lunge in the 42 down on the inside of Schultz. Goes down below the yellow line there. Might cop a slight penalty for that one. Got to be careful of that sometimes. But doesn't make the position there. But he's really pushing on Aiden Schultz as they just make the slightest little kiss between those two cars. Slightest little bit of contact. And Patton is being held up by this on those fresh tyres. He is not going to be wanting to see this battle continue because he's got a very fast charging Matty Ray coming up behind him as well.
That was going to be my next question. How many spots is Matty Raymond up? We know he loves starting from the back of the field. Oh, as James Glaswell gets sideways in front of him right now. So that'll give him a run. He should be able to get him through these set of corners.
So James Glasspool is 17 positions up, well 16 positions now. Matty Ray is 23 positions. So big gain of the night for Mr. Matty Ray. Not unusual. Jaden Russell 10 positions as well, so he's having a good run. Up at the front, we have got Ryan Jones hooking onto the back of Michael Skurlock now. So this is the battle. We've got 21 laps remaining here at Phoenix for the Wednesday Night Thunder here on Locked On Lads TV. Of course, Locked On Lads, the fantastic podcast hosted by a wonderful gentleman named Wilco, and even better person named Braden Martin. But
Wow.
get all your news and results there, of course. But yes, fantastic place for all the news and
James
results of our
Glasswell is
last series.
banished from the server,
Fallen off. Oh, he has been banished to the Shadow Realm, unfortunately.
and I can't get. It's gone to
Yeah,
blimp
he is.
static, and I can't get out of it. There we go.
Yeah, he has disappeared, unfortunately. It looks like he's actually pulled off the track, so possibly knew that was coming. So something's happened there for Glasspool, unfortunately. A big shame because he was having a really good run tonight. Meanwhile, Ryan Jones has moved up past Skurlock now. So Ryan Jones up into P4.
Yeah, so even with those, like, we are talking 20 laps extra tyres that Skurlock's tyres have done over Ryan Jones, and just that little bit of extra grip coming out of the corner can make a world of difference. It's only a couple tenths, or not even that, probably a couple hundredths, but it definitely helps make a move when needed. As he gets on the back here and tries to help Mickelmore around, as Jaden Russell's just happy taking the high line there, no concern in the world. But we are coming down to 18 laps to go. Things are going to start getting interesting in the next 10 or so, because people will either get a yellow and we'll have a very, very close race, or it's going to come down to who's got the best tyres for that last 10 laps.
Yeah, that sprint to the end. But you got to say, Hamish Gallagher is doing a good job at the moment. He's got over a second lead over Jaden Russell at the moment. Josh Mickelmore doing a good job defending against Ryan Jones. Keep an eye out for Danny G, just sliding his way up there, closing in on the rest of them. So there's going to be some good battles throughout the field. A couple of close calls out there still as well. So it's still very close action. We've got a lot of different cars on a lot of different strategies now, and this is where things get thrown up in the air, and you never know what's going to happen. But as I say, they're starting to plateau now, so those fresh tyres no longer giving the same advantage as they were at the start of the spin.
Matty Raymond here try and put a move on Aiden Schultz down the inside of turn 3-4. Will he get it done? He's got better tyres than Aiden by 20 laps as well. He's one of the ones who did pit last caution, so he's only running on 24 lap old tyres, and he's making it work. He's going to make it stick, I think, by the end of this, which is a very good job for Matty Raymond as he pushes into the top 10 from that start. Actually, he's just lost a bit of air out of the exit there as I cursed him a little bit.
Yeah, Schultz having the high line, just getting a little bit better run off that high line. A little bit further up, Nigel Patton having a good run. He just got past Reuben Phelps as well. So Patton as well on those fresh tyres is moving up some 20 laps fresher tyres, really helping them out at the moment. Just nicely moving up the field. But it has stalled off a little bit for Ryan Jones in fourth now. Can't really press the advantage on Josh Mickelmore. Trying his best to do that. Same for Danny G, just struggling to catch up to the back of Michael Skurlock at the moment. We've got 13 laps remaining here. Not long to go, but Hamish Gallagher has got a handy lead of 1.5 seconds, almost 1.5 seconds actually, over Jaden Russell in second. And then it is pretty much nose to tail back to Skurlock in fifth. That battle is fantastic and looking forward to that one. A bit further back, Matty Ray has managed to get past Aiden Schultz. Next up on his hit list is Reuben Phelps. Reuben trying his best to hold on to that position in the custom paints and diecast livery sponsored car up at the P9 at the moment. Qualified ninth is sitting ninth. It's always it's never fun when you have a race where you qualify in a decent position like that and you finish in the same spot, because it looks like you've done nothing all night, which is nothing close to the truth. Because usually you've had a big battle throughout the night, changed position a million times, but on the stat sheets it looks like you've done nothing at all.
I wouldn't know, mate. I wouldn't have any idea how that feels. Qualifying in a good position, what's that? I've never heard of that before. Just quickly wanted to jump back there while you were talking. Michael Schroeder made that move stick on Matty Hunter as well, so Michael Schroeder's moving up the field, as I was mentioning before. A bit of a gap now to Stevie Dub, the next one down the track there, but well done there with that move as we go into 10 to go. And Hamish has a good 1 second lead right now over the field, and I think unless we get a caution, I don't think there's, even if we do get a caution, I think he's the fastest guy on track. and it's going to be hard to beat. But we just see there the gap between Josh Mickelmore back to Ryan Jones has grown ever so much. So it's now out to a full second gap between those two. So the podium is pretty much in the battle. It's just set out at the moment. It's just a battle of see who gets second and third right now, unless something major happens. As Tristan Cock in the back there makes the move on Nixon to get past him as well. So good work, Tristan, for his little battling that he gets done.
Brad Finlay as well having a good run. One of our newer season entries in the terribly sponsored Victoria Bitter car. I don't know if you'd really want to be advertising that stuff on a car. I mean, it is one of the worst tasting liquids known to man, I'm pretty sure. But he is currently trying to get past Matty Hunter. Dave Douglas, unfortunately, 200th race, dropping back through the field like a stone at the moment, struggling for pace. 8 laps to go here. Hamish Gallagher still in the lead. But we have still got a few battles throughout the field. It is opening up a little bit as we get this long green stint. Just keep an eye out a little bit further back as well. Good little battle between Finley and Malone as well. Finley and Malone have a good little battle. Finley up a fair few positions, actually. He started in 21st, so he's made up a nice few spots, 9 positions so far. So another good run. We often see it with Sim Boys. They tend to run very hard. I was talking to somebody about it the other night, actually. They're some of the hardest competitors to race on the track because they really do not give you an inch. They really make you work for your positions, but they are always great fun to race against. And Finley just doing that once more, really defending against Adam Malone at the moment, who is trying his best to get up past there, but struggling. Aidan Schultz just a little bit further ahead. Matty Ray trying to get up to Reuben Phelps now. He's on the bumper. Should be able to make this move done, but it's going to be a tricky one. Lachlan Ercrio has got a little bit of a gap between himself and Patton. Lachlan Ercrio managing to get up to P7 after that mistake in pit lane. Good recovery drive from him. But it is still Hamish Gallagher in the lead. We got a big bunch up with the traffic, though.
Yes, he's lost his advantage that he had. It's lost almost half a second back. So he's only 7 tenths ahead now. Mickelmore got past Jaden Russell there as well. And it helped Ryan Jones just catch up ever so slightly as well with that lap traffic going through. But Hamish is back out in front with 5 to go. I don't see much else as clear track in front of him. Unless we get a yellow here, it's easy sailing for him.
Yeah, it's well, say it's easy sailing. It's still a lot of effort you have to put
Hamish
through.
makes it look easy. No,
That's it. He makes it look easy.
He just does it. I don't want to talk to him this week. We've talked to him too much already in 4 races.
You get used to it. I mean, this is the trouble with covering the Thunder Series, is you will talk to Hamish a lot. You have to just accept Taylor Swift is going to make it up to the booth at some stage in your week throughout your life now. Every Wednesday you will be speaking about Taylor Swift. But the battle is on for second. Jaden Russell, Josh Mickelmore really putting their punches at the moment, really trying for it. We've got a few spots further back, nothing really too close at the moment, as Malone gets a big snap on the exit, and that might give Norman Clark a chance to move up another position. But I think the main battle is going to be on for that second place. I think that's the one to watch towards the end here. We've got 2.5 laps remaining here for the Xfinity Construction 115 here at Phoenix, brought to you, of course, on Locked On Lads TV. It is another fantastic race for the Thunder Series. We are seeing these guys week after week deliver, giving us some great action.
Yeah, definitely. With now officially 2 laps to go, there's a little bit of traffic up ahead, but I don't think it's going to play much into it. I think it's Darren Lobb from memory coming up. I just need to go to Cactus Cam one more time before the finish. I just have to do it. So we'll hopefully get that
Cactus
there.
Cam for the white flag.
Let's see if I can time it right.
There we go.
Flag waves above the cactus, and Hamish comes around for the final lap. Mickelmore closing it down a little bit, but not enough. There's still a second between them as we go into the final lap. And Hamish, he's doing what he does best. He's just putting in consistent laps after consistent laps, just slightly quicker than everyone else in the field. Let's see if Jaden Russell's got any more in the tank, as Skirley in the background actually goes into the wall and has spun it.
Big accident
on the
Skirley.
final lap. That is a huge problem But let's get back
Huge
up the
one, but
front.
it is Hamish Gallagher taking the victory tonight here at Phoenix for Mitch Motorsport. Fantastic victory for Gallagher. Skurlock just caught the wall there on that final lap, and that cost him a whole heap of positions. But Hamish Gallagher taking out the victory for Mitch Motorsport, the Xfinity sponsored car, taking out the victory for the Xfinity sponsored race, which is always a nice thing when you can do that for your sponsors. So very nice work there indeed. And of course, his teammate Josh Mickelmore in second. Very nice run for Mitch. Jaden Russell comes home, a strong third position for Synergy. Ryan Jones fourth on that alternate strategy. Janet G, the other Mitch Motorsport, top five, three Mitch Motorsport cars, a very strong finish indeed. Lachlan Ercrio managed to come home sixth in the end. Fantastic recovery, dropping back to the back of the field after that early mistake in pit lane. Nigel Patton, very strong race from him, up into P7 for the end of that one. Matty Ray, biggest mover of the night, not a surprise. 26 positions gained for Mr. Matty Ray, finishing in 8th position. Starting ninth, finishing ninth, Reuben Phelps. Doesn't look like he's done anything all night long, but absolutely not the truth. Aidan Schultz comes home in 10th position, and that's our top 10 for the night.
Yes, very well done to Aidan Schultz there, finishing off the 10. Michael Skurlock in 11th. Christopher Finlay in 12th. Adam Malone, very good effort in 13th. Norman Clark, ever consistent, up 10 places to 14th. Stevie Dubb there, dropping down a few to get to 15th. Michael Schroeder, we saw at the end there, overtaking Matty Hunter to get into 16th. Matty Hunter, fairly solid race for him in 17th, up 6 positions. Raymond Yeager, unfortunately, someone we've had up in the booth before for a podium, dropping down a few spots to 18th. Dave Douglas, we saw the horrible night that was his 200th race, finishing in 19th. And Brad Finlay, as we mentioned, very solid race for the 20th position there.
21st was George O'Carroll Walden. We saw a little mistake there costing him. Jamie Nankervis in 22nd position, up a few spots actually. Nankervis making 11 spots in the end, same as JCW actually. Darren Lobb in 23rd position. 24th, Greg Spencer. Connor Nixon, 25th tonight, with Tristan Koch in 26th, Kobe Jordan 27th, 28th for Luke Georgeson, James Glasspool dropping out of the race, unfortunately, due to some kind of failure. Noddy Tompkins back in 30th, Troy Davidson 31st, Kate Donnelly, we saw having a big accident 32nd, 33rd for Mr. Andrew Dyson, again getting caught up in a bit of an accident. Gary Wellman 34th, Mirko Dalton 35th, 36th for Aaron Dillon. And that is the final of our runners tonight.
Excellent. As we go back, you're now going to see behind the scenes because I didn't set it up. There we go. Yeah, we are back with the webcams. Before we get someone in the booth, I've got to mention how good is it having Safari Suit on the stream. Well done, mate.
It's got to be done. Of course, I'm wearing the full Safari suit. I am missing my PIF helmet, though. So I'm not wearing the full outfit. I do need to get my PIF helmet back. So hopefully sometime in the future, we will have a full PIF helmet on the stream.
Yes, hopefully. So I guess we probably better get some of these guys into the booth and talk to them, find out how they went and all that kind of stuff, Carl.
Yeah, so we'll grab down our third place finisher for Synergy, Mr. Jaden Russell. Another strong finish for himself. Jaden Russell, welcome back to the broadcast booth. Congratulations on a top 3 finish tonight.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was good fun, that track. I was surprised how far we went green on that first stoppage. It would have been good to keep it going, but yeah, it's good fun, good racing.
Yeah, a nice long green stint here at Phoenix. Obviously, very different track here. It's one of those tracks that can catch you out if you've not had too much experience out here, because it is a very different one to run. How did you find your tyres and running out here tonight?
I struggled off that first start because this is the first time I've ever raced here. I brought it just before practice. So I struggled on that first start a bit, but I slowly got the hang of it towards the end there, just as I was starting to come on with the tyres a bit, catching the 2 guys in front of me. Then the yellow came out and had some strong pace after that, so it was good.
making everybody feel sick there. First time racing here, just got it before practice. Just goes out there, gets third position. Um, we know that you are incredibly quick, obviously, and you tend to get these tracks very well. Did you have a little bit of help tonight in Discord from the Mitch boys?
Yeah, I sort of just followed what they were doing there after that on the first restart, copied their line for a bit and ended up jumping them on I think it was a second restart or something. I jumped around the outside and got the track position off them and just sort of followed Hamish's line until I got comfortable with it, but he ended up taking off in the end anyway.
No, look, it's been a really strong start of the year for yourself. Obviously, I think you missed a round, did you? Or no,
The internet dropped out.
that's right. Yes, it was the internet dropout that was the big one. So obviously that cost you a little bit, but currently sitting in the top four in championship. This is going to help you move up a little bit closer. And obviously, it's a tough one to battle against. But Hamish Gallagher is definitely within your sights this season. Do you think you got a chance of maybe catching him?
Oh, it's hard to say because I've got to use a drop round already. Hamish has still had, I think, the worst finish he's had's third. So he's sitting pretty strong at the minute. I'd need him to have some bad results to get him, but I believe I'll be sitting in second with the drop round applied. So I'm happy with that.
Look, it's always possible. Anything can happen in motorsport, but Hamish is hard to beat in these Xfinity cars for sure. But you are absolutely bringing the competition. Congratulations on another strong finish tonight, Jaden. The usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, obviously thanks to you guys for putting the stream on. It's good to go and watch back. Hamish and Josh, was a good race with them tonight. Hamish was very strong, so it was good to be able to keep pace with him there for a little while. But yeah, congratulations to him on the win.
Well done again on P3 tonight. I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth in a short time.
Thanks, guys.
Jaden Russell, Xfinity, another really strong race for Jaden, and just hearing bought the track just before practice, finishes third. It makes you sick, doesn't it?
Yeah, I bought the track 3 years ago. I've been practicing for 3 years, and he's still a second and a half quicker than lap than me. Yeah, it's great.
It is one of those things. He is one of those natural talents, and his skill on dirt, I think, transfers over well to these Xfinity cars. He has just got a affinity for driving,
especially with a track like this as well. Like there is a lot. You think, okay, cool, dirt, tarmac, completely different. But when you do throttle management and brake management that you need on tracks like this, you talked about the start of the race. It's the first time we've really brought brakes into it this season so far. That dirt experience makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, and once again proving that he is on the rise here in ANZCAR. We saw him last season getting some really good results and building up, but this season he's just getting stronger and stronger. Speaking of strong, we're going to grab down Mitch Motorsports 31, Mr. Josh Mickelmore. Welcome to the booth, Mr. Mickelmore. Congratulations on a P2 finish tonight.
Yeah, it was a good fun race, wasn't it?
It was. We got a nice big green stint there in the beginning and towards the end. How did that affect your race?
Yeah, I do really love this track. And we don't normally get a lot of green flag runs here, but we certainly did tonight. And yeah, it was really good, that first 30, 40 laps, wherever it was, and then at the end as well. Yeah, it's good that the class is getting those green runs around here because, yeah, like I said, we don't normally get them.
Yeah, it's been fantastic racing this season. We've seen it in the Xfinity series that we've had a lot of green flag running and not too many incidents, which is always nice. There was a little bit of that spat of cautions breeding cautions in the middle there. Obviously, you stuck it out on the tyres. You didn't decide to come in. Did you think about stopping for tyres with that late caution, or did you just decide, nope, that's it, I'm going to stick it out there?
I was thinking about track position as well. I know last year Hamish lost this race to not pitting, but we thought, no, we'll see what we can do. We only did like 10 or so green flag laps, so I said, we'll just see what we can do here. And it sort of paid off because I think one of us tried it last year, and then we ended up getting wrecked coming back through the field. So yeah, now we decided to take the track position and ended up finishing at the top.
Yeah, it paid off for you. Obviously, Danny G just took the fresh tyres and managed to top 5 still. So 3 of the Mitch Motorsport cars in the field tonight that entered, and 3 of them in the top 5 tonight. You must be pretty happy about that with the team.
Oh yeah, nah. Pretty good having all three cars in the top five. Yeah, especially around here. So I was a bit scared when I seen Jonesy and Grzeskovic, only a couple of seconds behind me in those last 15, 20 laps. But I don't know, their tyres died off or something. But yeah, that was all good fun though.
No, really strong defence there towards the end. Obviously, that race between yourself and Jaden, that was a critical one. You managed to just get the jump over Jaden. I think during the traffic, you sort of caught him up.
Yeah, we've been having some good battles with J. Russ as of late, and tonight was another one. Yeah, I think we were a little bit quicker in the corners and whatever, but it was just a bit harder to pass, and then we just sort of waited the time, and then seen the lap cars coming, so thought I'd take the opportunity, and yeah, went for it. So, but now it's good fun racing.
No, very much paid off. Congratulations on the P2 tonight. Obviously, a good finish for yourself and Hamish as well, being that Xfinity is sponsoring this race. So I'm sure the sponsors are going to be very happy with that one for you.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah.
Speaking of, before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to your sponsors.
Yeah, spot on to Hamish and J. Russ as well. Good racing tonight. And yeah, you guys for putting on the broadcast. And Ned has Designs as well for sponsoring us. And yeah, Xfinity Constructions Australia as well. Yeah, that's about it.
No, always a pleasure, Mr. Mickelmore. Hopefully we'll get you back in the booth soon. It's been not the easiest start of the season, but things are starting to come your way again.
In this kind of track, tomorrow night's a bit different. Still getting the grips to that bloody thing, but we'll get there, mate.
Well, I mean, hopefully you won't have to use the lucky 31st spot, so...
Yeah, no. I think I'm 21st in points, so I still have to qualify in tomorrow night again, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. It should be all right.
All right, good luck. We'll catch you again soon. Thank you so much.
All right, cheers, guys.
Another strong night there for Mitch Motorsport and Josh Mickelmore. It's been a little bit of a rough start for Josh, and it's starting to come back now, and he is definitely picking up pace and momentum.
Yeah, definitely is. And another person I've got to try and somehow beat for the lucky 31 spot. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, great. No, look, he's going to be a consistent person up here in the booth all year long. He's proved that already. He's barely out of the top 5 at any point in time. So another great race from him. And yeah, just a super talent.
And next up, we will drag down the car number 13. There is never any bad blood between him and his competitors. The Taylor Swift superfan himself, the winner of tonight's race here at Phoenix, Mr. Hamish Gallagher. Congratulations on another fantastic win in the Xfinity cars.
Thank you, Carl. First things first, mate. Looking very dapper right there. I'm loving the suit.
Thank you very much. Look, the safari suit, it is an important part of any wardrobe. So, you just have to do it. What a race for yourself tonight. You were dominant out there, led from start to finish, of course. Barely looked like you got touched out there.
Thanks, Carl. It's all you, mate. Last week in the interview, you mentioned I was going downhill, going first, second, third, need to turn around. So I was like, I listen to Carl here. Got to get this back on track. But yeah, no, I really enjoy this track in this car. Cup car last year was a bit of a mystery, but yeah, I managed to get on pole, and it made it a lot easier because I don't have to fight people because it's really hard to pass here. So really big advantage to be on pole and to have a bunch of friendly cars just behind me. So that's definitely a big advantage. But yeah, no, just really happy to get heaps of green flag running tonight. Normally this is a caution fest, so. No way I thought we'd get these long runs, but hey, the Xfinity boys obviously know how to drive, unlike the Thursday night guys.
That's it. Can I just quickly jump in and ask a question? You love this track. What tracks don't you love? Just so I know, I could practice them.
Well, all the road tracks are a start.
Yeah.
So you've probably got a lot more experience than me there.
I'm still half a minute slower than you there, but anyway, I'll start practicing Coda then for sure.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry, mate. You'll be all that time to skip. You'll be ahead of me. I'll be figuring out. We've got to turn both ways. What's the brake pedal?
It's right. If you turn up to Kota, you're probably going to get a top 3. In all honesty, I mean, that's the easy way of getting a good finish at ANZCAR is just turning up for Kota, because it is not a favoured round by anyone, I think.
Oh, a couple of guys I'm sure like it, but no, all the off tracks there as well. It's like, oh boy, and yeah. Doesn't suit these big, heavy stock cars. They feel like you're going for a Sunday drive to the supermarket or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feel. Obviously, first track that we've had where a bit more braking's been involved. There's a little bit more action involved here at Phoenix. It is a tricky track to get used to, of course, with the barriers jutting out, things like that. How much does that affect going into this race for you?
Oh, it's good because if you get to use the brake pedal, that opens up all your driving options, driving styles. So if you never use the brake pedal, it's one less thing you can do. So you can sort of help drive the car using the brake pedal, which is a big help at a track like this, especially if the temperatures. Like the track was pretty slick out there. You start off the run, it was pretty loose, and then got tight. And so it's it's a good fun track, and just well done to everyone again, giving us as much racing as we got tonight.
Yeah, no, fantastic race, and we got to enjoy all of that. Thank you very much. Another win for yourself. Obviously, it's looking good for the Season 1 championship, but also the year-long championship as well. We've not really mentioned that too much, but obviously we know that you've got an eye on that one this season.
Yeah, early days, but this is a really good start. So I'm very happy right now.
Awesome to hear. Thank you, Hamish. The usual thing, though, before I let you go, of love and shout out to all the sponsors.
Yeah, first shout out to Double D. It's 200th race apparently in ANZCAR tonight. So it was looking pretty good there at the start. Unfortunately, something happened there later on. But he's really good round here. He won the race last time. So that's well done to Dave, 200. Well done to all the Mitch and SSR boys, getting 4 of the top 5 there. Dan hasn't driven the car in like 5 months, just rocks up and gets a top 5, making the rest of us look laundry.
I mean, Jaden only bought the track tonight, so it's it's just showing off tonight, I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. Got to keep us on our toes. It's good. Just big thank you to our sponsors, Xfinity Construction and Mad As Designs, and Locked On Lads Authority for news and results in Australia, New Zealand.
We don't talk about those guys.
I don't. Yeah. Just encourages them to keep talking.
Yeah, no. Good luck for qualifying in, boys. It's going to be tough, but at least you got the second split now. I guess that's something. That's
it. I think I'm waiting for them to open up a third split for us so we can get in that way.
It's the Wilco split. It's only Wilkinsons can race in it.
Yeah, and I'll still get second last.
Sounds like you're on the deep end. That car sounds like it's a mystery, a bit of a handful. So you're certainly bidding a lot off. So no surprise if it's going to take a while to figure it out.
We were supposed to have Timmy join tonight, but then he realised about halfway through the race that it was Wednesday night, and he didn't actually make the field because he forgot it was Wednesday. So yeah, he's going to be heading back to the Thunder Series. So just to get a bit more practice and a bit more race under his belt, so you can have a belt later on in the year. But that's enough about us. You keep on thanking people, and then we'll kick you out because I'm sick of talking to you every week.
Who else going to thank their car? Got anyone else you want, or is it good?
I think we're good there now. I think obviously myself, that's the usual one, but other than that, we're all good. No, thanks.
I hope Wilco's dressed up tonight as well. Wilco, you stepped up or what?
You don't. You can't see. You're not watching the webcam. No. I haven't stepped up to suit level, and I didn't get any tyres out because I just really can't do that. Can't get the back of my cupboard. But I have got a Shell DJR shirt, and I've got my Locked On Truckers hat because we're in Phoenix, so I feel like I'm a trucker. So,
that's pretty good. Yeah, I like
definitely better than the old T-shirt I had last week. Anyway.
It's getting there, slowly but surely.
Yeah, I have to go buy a whole new wardrobe just for the bloody Thunder Series. I have to up the prices now.
Thank you so much, Hamish. Always a pleasure to have you in the booth, and I'm sure we will see you back shortly.
Cheers, thank you, guys.
As ever, a pleasure to have Hamish there. Look, a fantastic guy, always a laugh, and just such a good driver as well. These Xfinity cars just suit him down to the ground.
And sorry, Hamish, I didn't have your car up on screen for that whole interview because I was too busy talking to chat. So sorry about that. But that's okay. We've got Tay on screen right now as we wrap this thing up. What a great race. Like 40-odd laps that we start without a caution. Cautions all the way through the field, mixing the field up, bringing out different strategies, especially that big green run stint at the end of we have about 35 laps there at the end, which left some people on 55 laps and some people on 35 laps. Which really got Ryan Jones back into a great drive from Lachlan Ercrio. Shout out to Aiden Schultz again. That's 2 top 5s in 2 weeks. Reuben Phelps in there as well. Matty Raymond coming up through the field. Likes of Christopher Finlay, Adam Malone, and Michael Schroeder having great runs as well. Brad Finlay.
Norman Clark as well, up 10 positions.
Yep.
Some really good runs throughout the field. JCW, not the finish he would have wanted in 21st, but 11 positions gained, as well as Jamie Nankervis as well, both 11 positions gained, which is not an easy feat to do here at Phoenix, but some really good runs throughout the pack tonight.
Yeah, and shout out to James Glasswell, who obviously goes down as a 29th on the track, 8 laps down, but 20 laps down, but was going really well before something happened. Obviously, something severe happened with either his internet or his rig, and great awareness to get down off the track and before anything went wrong and took out half the field. So some great battling once again. Ryan Jones driving through the field, Danny G driving through the field. It had everything tonight. It was really good. Thanks, Carl.
Absolutely, and it always delivers here at Phoenix, and we get to do it again tomorrow night, of course, but with the Cup cars over on Performance E streaming on YouTube, and of course ANZCAR on Facebook. And of course we have got the new introduction of the Lucky 31 for tomorrow's race, so that's going to allow the drivers who don't qualify into the main Cup race to get in for Atlanta to seal themselves into that 31st spot. So they're going to be racing it out for that 31st position. Hopefully we'll get to see you in the actual main race, Wilco. So we'll see what happens there. But it gives you the opportunity, of course, to race the pack and possibly lock yourself in for next week if you don't make it through on qualifying alone.
Well, I've changed the strategy for tomorrow night. At 6 o'clock, I will be buying Phoenix, downloading it, and we'll be jumping in and giving it a crack. Now, I'll hopefully actually get some fun practice tomorrow. This week's been a horrible week, but I'm looking forward to getting some practice. And at the end of that practice, actually getting a race, which is really good. I'm excited to see if I can battle for the 31st position. At least, yeah, do some racing and battling with the guys who didn't quite make it in, which is a fairly large amount of people these days with the way ANZCAR's growing. Quickly, Carl, shout out where they can watch the Cup Series tomorrow night, because unfortunately Locked On Lads TV does not cover the Cup Series because obviously I'm driving. Where can they catch it though?
As I say, over on Performance E streaming on YouTube. And of course, if you head over to ANZCAR on Facebook, you will find all the details there as well. It will be broadcast on Facebook Live as well as YouTube on Performance E streaming. But yeah, if you head over to the Facebook page or ANZCAR.com, the links are all in the descriptions there for those streams. But a huge thank you, as ever, to Locked On Lads and to Mr. Peter Wilco Wilkinson for all of the effort he has done to get this going. Always an absolute pleasure bringing us the Thunder Series. It's been a great start of the season, great start to the broadcasting for you guys, I hope, because we've had some really good racing from it.
Yeah, definitely have, and it's been really good bringing it to you guys. I'd love to be able to bring the truck series on a Monday night to you as well. I will probably try and do something for the Lucky 31. Since I'll have the replay file for that, but we'll see if time permits for that. But if you can, Locked On iRacing podcast, or the Locked On iRacing podcast, is where you can find all my content on Spotify, on Apple, on Google, all the different podcast apps of choice. I'm not in this episode, so you can safely listen to this one when it drops tomorrow. Braden takes the reins once again with Tim Cornt, who has obviously a few words to say about the Cup Series. I don't know if they're positive or negative at the moment, but they are joined by Alex John as well, as they talk about all the new content that came to iRacing today and what they thought of all the new announcements. So there's a whole heap of stuff they're going to talk to, another 2-hour long podcast, and yourself, Carl, giving a wrap up of the ANZCAR series as well, and also the Lucky 31. You can find all our content at Locked On Lads on Facebook, Locked On Lads YT on YouTube, Locked On Lads on Twitch, Locked On Lads just about everywhere else. LockedOnLads.com/Discord is the place to get into our Discord. Have a chat with us, join us, have some fun. As for the ANZCAR Discord, I'm trying to get a link now for someone in Twitch, but I'll sort that out after the broadcast is finished. If you want to go join races with them, they race the Monday, the Thursday, and the Wednesday at the moment with the trucks, the Xfinity cars, and the next gen cars. So look out for all that. But thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone who's liked, commented, shared, and everything with the broadcast. It's been a great 4-week start. We have got those overlays coming fairly soon. We should make it look even better, hopefully, as well. As you can see tonight, there's a few little differences as well with some of the screens. But thank you to everyone who's making it, they're making us feel so good about doing this. And we'll be back next week when we go to, Carl?
We are going to somewhere.
Yeah, that's
Um,
it. Is it Coda next
That
week?
is it. It's either next week or the week after. No, it's Atlanta next week.
Atlanta, there you go.
Atlanta, yeah, there we go. I should have known that because I did say it before with the cup.
Yep.
Of course, you can head over to ANZCAR.com for all the information and all the links to get to places as well if you're looking to race in the series. So ANZCAR, ANZCAR.com. All the information is on there as well as all the news. But well, I think that wraps it all up for tonight. Thank you so much for everybody joining us. Thank you so much, Peter, for all of the hard work. And this is me, Carl Wilkinson, with you, wishing you all a good night. And we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.